Heck yeah.
Look alive and welcome to a special edition collaboration like we've never seen. It is episode 2.4 of the GOAT Guest, and it is May 10th currently. But when you see this, it is going to be May 12th. And happy Mother's Day to everybody, right?
Happy Mother's Day.
We are time traveling. We were currently recording a few days early because I will be on vacation. The GOATs will be on vacation. And we wanted to reach out, and the first guest we wanted to have on was Izac from the Fun Football Podcast.
Yeah.
One of the most infectious, electric, energetic dudes I've met via the interwebs, Twitter world. Real passion for what he does. Packers fan, friend, great communicator. He's got the who is that?
Jordan Love. My dad got it for my birthday. I was like, heck yeah, I'm going to wear that, especially with your overrated Packers comment that we'll get to. We'll get to it. I saw that. I was like, you threw that in just for me.
Oh, look, if it's our show, we're doing segments. We have dedicated
49ers. I'm gonna do it.
You can switch it up. You can go ahead if you want to. We've got the PowerPoint slides. Everything's ready to go. Crank up the turbines. The electric factory is rolling. We're time traveling. It's not football season. The draft season's over. Rookie camp has started. So welcome to the show. Thank you for coming on the show. And tell everybody about your podcast, your group that you've got, and how you're making all the Cowboys fans mad.
Oh man, that was one of the highlights of my day. The people, what's funny though is I actually had some Cowboys fans say, "Yeah, it's pretty much right," and I was like, "Yeah, exactly." All I did was make another video. I made one 2 months ago, but the lesson I learned. This is the first time I had to deal with this. I had a video go, and I'm not trying to brag because it actually upset me at first. I had a video go viral in March, and it hit over 100 and almost 30,000 views, which is really cool. But I got blasted, and it was a little more. It's right after my aunt passed away, and I just wasn't. That was actually, I think it was late February, and it was like a month after, and I'd hit my burnout point. I think that was when I went and took a break right after, and it was really good because I was like, hey, I'm gonna have to learn how to handle trolls. So yesterday was a litmus test. I was like, am I ready? And I went and fired at him, and I was like, yeah, I can handle this. So all I did was say, you guys haven't paid Dak, and you shouldn't. And the Cowboys clearly aren't sold on it. But I also said I wouldn't pay Jordan Love $60 million if we're like the biggest thing is I hate people that aren't like. I occasionally let it take over the Packer fandom, but I try to be as unbiased as I can. And I'm not listing the Packers as a Super Bowl contender this year. I do think we're going to make the playoffs, though.
Mm-hmm.
Like in all realistically, I'm going to be surprised if they don't. Actually,
it's May.
It's May.
We'll see whenever you get closer to September. If you're like, you know what, I'm doing it. Packers Super Bowl, stamp it.
They better start 8-2 this time and get me excited to flip of what they did last year. Because I'm worried they're going to be 4-5 and mediocre halfway through and catch fire again because they're a young team.
You're doing what the classic fan does. You're trying to downplay your excitement because of all the success you had late last year so that you don't get disappointed when they start 4. You're going to be like, I told myself that I knew they were going to start 4-5, and so I'm okay. Instead of like me, I'm like, we're winning.
What are you expecting of the 49ers? Super Bowl?
What? Oh, dude, every year until they are eliminated.
They're the youngest team in the NFL, and they're going to be the youngest team again. And all I want to see is consistency this year. Mm-hmm. I'd love if they challenge, but I actually think Detroit and San Fran are going to be pretty tough to slay, and maybe Philly. I do put them right behind those 3 teams, though. I think they're the next team up. It's either them or the Rams. I just listed them I got to upload it. I listed them in a video earlier. I think the Cowboys took a massive step back, and I'm sorry, but the Bears, I didn't list them overrated, but I'm gonna because I'm having Bears fans tell me they're gonna make the playoffs, and I'm like, look, they got a lot of weaponry, but let's see Caleb actually throw the football.
That will be on their defense. It will not be because of Caleb Williams.
Exactly, unless it's the Chicago curse. And he's just a scrub again, which I am a little concerned about for the Bears because they're going to start the kid immediately. They don't have a vet for him to watch. There are reasons the Packers have had this model of success. And the 49ers are actually probably the Chiefs are the next 2 teams up in terms of multiple quarterbacks that have had multiple Pro Bowl seasons or Hall of Famers. 49ers had it with Joe Montana and then Steve Young. And the Packers had it with Favre, but they did the same thing. They let Rodgers sit for 3 years, start. He only saw game action when Favre went out, or when the game was out of hand, or in the preseason. He didn't play otherwise. Same thing with Jordan Love. And I don't think Rodgers or Love would have became what they became without that. I really
No.
don't. So there's no way. Jordan Love was and he's got so much arm talent. But
He does.
I'm excited, but they were wildly up and down last year. So no, in all realistic, I'd be really happy if they hit 11 wins. I'm expecting more like 10, 9. Our defense needs to take a big step. They were pretty crappy last year. That's something I reminded Cowboy fans is not only did Dak go out and choke it up, he did that against the Packers defense.
Right. Who had been getting torched.
Baker Mayfield went out and had a field day 2-3 weeks before that. Like, come on. Come on. This is easy. But you can find me on Twitter, YouTube. I've started up TikTok heavily. On Facebook. I'm going to hit the Instagram, and I'm going to start a Twitch because I realize that's kind of the thing to do. I'll probably start putting stuff back on Rumble. It throttles the videos so much, but I'll probably go back on Rumble, and you can catch me on audio stuff this fall. It'll be back up.
The handle down there, is that where they find you at everywhere?
I actually messed that up. It's Fun Football Pod. The kiddo was messing with me. The 5-year-old was bugging me she was playing with me when I was typing this up. That is the handle. Fun Football Podcast or Fun Football Pod. Yep.
Okay.
That's the handle. I was playing with the kid when I typed it up. So,
I've got I saw your link tree in there that I will, when we release the podcast and the video, I will put the link tree in the description. Perfect. So everybody who's watching, whatever the handle is, I will put it in there.
So I started this thing up in September, and I just had an itch. And I'm going to be honest, personal thing. I don't know if I told you or not. I've been thinking about this for years. I almost went to school. I actually did. I started as a journalism degree, and in high school, I was an entertainment editor at a couple different high schools. And I took a few years off, and then I actually went back. And before I switched to education to be a teacher, I was entertainment editor at a community college, and I did sports reporting too. I actually interviewed college soccer, basketball, volleyball teams. So I've got a little bit of training in it. It's been a long time. I'm getting older. It's been almost 15 years, but I used to write movie reviews. I was an entertainment editor at the college level too. I almost went for it, but I thought the family thing, it would take too much time away from family because it's sports reporting is a night and weekend job, which I'm learning now. So I almost went for it. And then I consistently thought, my dream was to be, once I realized, because I quit football after my freshman year of high school, once I realized I wasn't going to be a pro athlete, even though I love playing basketball, man, I would pretend I was Kobe Bryant out there or Michael Jordan.
Kobe!
I wasn't bad for my size. I was a weird post player. I'm only 5'11", but with my buddies, I wasn't bad. I could play, but I haven't done that in years either. But it was fun. But I just, when I would watch the games, I wanted to be the play-by-play guy or the color dude. Yep. Really, the play-by-play was kind of my dream. The color guys, though, too. I used to just absolutely love John Madden, and Joe Buck and Aikman are awesome, but that TNT team's the best. So anyways, long story short, I got divorced. The ex-wife was not the best at all. Got remarried, and I don't know, I started talking to her about it, and we actually together, she came on my show. We almost started an entertainment one, but she decided she wanted to try video gaming, and we just couldn't coalesce on a idea. We did a couple little recorded takes, and then I almost did one with a buddy, but he's got 4 kids, so he's got double what you've got. And they're all 10 or under.
Yeah, my brother has that on our show.
Yeah, dude. So he just doesn't have the time. And I even talked to him about doing a movie one this summer, but I was like, I gotta take a break. So anyways, I just had the itch. Once football started last year, I was like, I gotta do this. And I got so into it. It's been so much fun. I've been better recently. I haven't been putting in as much time. I'm actually taking nights off, which I'm gonna be doing this fall. But not only did I start Fun Football, which started as audio only, and then right before I met you, I started video in late November. So it hasn't even been 6 months of video. And it's done pretty solid, I think, for the first year. I had some bigger shows recently, and they were like, dude, you're doing great. And I was like, Thank
Video is awesome because you
Video's
get
great, and but just the fact
interaction
that
with people.
people listen, like, I can't believe people are watching it. I'm like, "Holy crap, people are actually watching this, it's actually
Yeah,
working." Like,
yeah.
if only one person watched, that would suck, but I've had some shows where, like, 2 or 3 people watch. I'm like, "Hell yeah." Or then I'll go record it in some of those mock drafts. A few thousand people watched them. I was like, "Holy shit. Okay, let's do it. Done." Like,
Yeah.
people actually wanna watch. I was like, I thought I could do it, and then that was kinda just validating in itself. So then I started the show with Bill. We'd been doing a pick'em for years. This was our 3rd year last year. And I was like, dude, you should just come do this pick'em with me. And then I started doing that pick'em with him, and then bringing on Med was literally just messaging me about the Cowboy fans. He's trolling them right now. He said none of the damn boys
You'll
want
not
this
find a better
noise.
show that trolls the Cowboys fans better than your show. And
I'm gonna just start making it a thing once a month where I just have a troll. There we go. I came up with a segment. Troll them boys. I'm gonna just troll them boys
there you go.
once a month, man. But I think my favorite thing about this journey, man, is just meeting people like you, like Med, some of the new people we got on our network. So we've got our network is called Podcast Boys Network.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Med started. So not only did I start a show, this has just been crazy. We started a second show, which you helped with the name. When the Blitz hits the fan, it's just me and Med, and we bring on other people. We just cut it down to the 2 of us, and we bring other people on. As it's like kind of like this. Actually, we're making it more interview based.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, and we've had some fun. We had a cowboy guy on who was really good. We had a band on recently. This was cool, dude.
The Catalina wine mixer.
It was a country band from South Dakota that went and performed their single Tailgate Crazy. They're a big NFL tailgate band, country band. And
Yep.
they performed at the NFL draft tailgate in Detroit, and they came on
Oh,
our
that's
show.
awesome.
They're a newer band too, so that was perfect for them because, like us, it was crazy hearing the struggle from a band. It's the same struggle that we have trying to grow in podcasting because you have this.
Yeah.
You're trying to do very similar things to what I'm trying to do. For me, I want to build connections with people. That's my my favorite thing about this, and then trying to grow in the interaction with the fans and with the new people that I get to meet. It's legit because this is an avenue that I like to speak. I'm an introvert, so this is, I know I don't come off like one, but I'm an introvert, so this is a really nice way for me to meet people that I never would have met otherwise.
Sure.
So me and Matt started Blitz, and then we, like a month after that, I think like in January, we started Podcast Boys Network, and we brought on a couple like high schoolers and college kids who have some good channels, Football Experts and American Football Network, and he started a bunch of other YouTubers, a bunch of other YouTube channels under his one. And then we brought on Janae, who's I know you
She
met.
cracks me up. She cracks me up.
She's something,
funny.
dude. She's doing an entertainment show, but she goes all over. She'll hit like a movie and then she'll hit like a serious topic. But it's been good. She just started her show. We brought on Mary Mac and Cheese, and I was going to tell you this earlier. I don't know if you've ever heard of Urinating Tree. They just had him on this week. Yeah, dude. And he's going to come on this fall. So I'm like freaking excited. Great name, too. Urinating Tree. It's a great name. But he's a
Brand
huge YouTuber.
recognition.
He's a huge YouTuber. He does shows with Tom Grossi and Scooter. He's on Clickbait Sports. So, yeah, they just had him on Wednesday. So we're starting to expand, get some bigger guests. And we've got Jason and Peter, a couple fans that reached out, and they're going to start a show called The Cheesy Bear. It's a Packer, Bears, and fantasy football show.
Oh,
so,
my gosh. That should be incredible because...
Oh, yeah, because me and Med, Packers and Bears, I haven't even played that up enough. Like, especially the season when they play, I'm going to have so much fun.
Yeah, I mean, the whole time we spend most of our show is just trying to poke holes in why everybody else's team is horrible and they're not going to win the championship. Like, that's a big part of our show. Like, right now, I'm a New York Rangers fan, right? And the Rangers are absolutely steamrolling
How'd they do
everyone.
last night? They win?
They won in overtime.
Heck
So
yeah.
they're now 7-0 in the playoffs, and so that's why I have this beard. They won't let me shave it, and I shouldn't shave it because every time I shave it, they end up losing. And now they're like, "Well, we got to find another way to screw with you." So we're just going to put our bet on the Stanley Cup Finals future on the Rangers. And so now they're trying to, everybody we bet on, always ends up losing, especially parlays. And so now
Oh yeah, especially
they put
poker.
all their time and effort into betting up the Rangers as Stanley Cup champions, which is a win-win for them because if the Rangers win, they're going to be like, "See, we told you all along. We won a bunch of money. We believed." And if they lose, they're going to say, "We sabotaged you by betting on them." So it's a
Oh, absolutely.
lose win for me, but also a lose-lose win for me because now I'm going to have to listen to them continue to rag me for the
That's
next
one reason
month.
I don't sports bet, because if I did, I'd be placing so many bets on the Packers and all these prop bets like I'm going to be
Oh,
talking about in the fall.
yes.
I'm going to start a prop bet segment because I had fun when I went on Pete's show and talked it. But dude, the betting thing, like just doing the pick'ems, man, like gets me so into it. I'm like, I'm watching teams like I never watched. I'm rooting for the freaking Tampa Bay Buccaneers or the
Yeah.
stupid Indianapolis Colts to cover, and the damn Titans keep winning games they shouldn't
Yeah.
win. And it's just, man, that crap.
They
Ooh,
legalized it here in North Carolina,
gambling's not
right?
for me. I'm happy it's illegal in Texas still, because
Y
I just like, I think I would like,
It's
I'd
nuts,
go
dude, I'm
nuts with this
telling you.
shit.
They did it right before March Madness, it got legalized in North Carolina, and it's just like, oh my gosh, like, you just keep it never ends. It
I
never
think
and
they're
I
going to
just
legalize it here. I think they're going to, because Texas is so huge. I
Yeah.
know we're super conservative, but I think eventually they're going to I think they're going to legalize it soon, actually.
Mhm.
And I'm just going to, then
I
I'm going
got
to be able to
tired of
talk
it.
about it all the time. Oh man, if
I just got tired of it. I was like, "I
I
can't do
don't
this
blame you, dude.
anymore." Like, I
I
was
honestly, I debated not putting money in the pick'em because like I can handle fantasy, but the pick'em, like then like me and Bill are texting each other about like the teams, because we'll have some good weeks, but then there's always something stupid that happens because it's the freaking NFL.
Well, it
Like
creates content for you. Like, it
it
literally
does.
does. Like, it'll write itself for you. Like, you gotta be
Mhm.
kidding me. Like, I don't know, what example is it's like they know the over-unders especially. I'm sitting there watching, like, multiple
Oh,
March Madness games, and I'm like, "How do they get it this correct every single time?" Where
they're good at
somebody
it, man.
misses a foul shot at the end of the game for the over or the under, and it's like, "These
It's like, you have a
scumbags."
script. Do you have a script? How do you
Yeah,
do this? You're like,
that's
how are you doing that?
so I don't even
So
care anymore.
I'm gonna delve into fantasy stuff in the fall too, man. I'm gonna try something unique. I've never done. I haven't done this yet. I'm gonna try to do a double header on Thursdays. I'm gonna try to do my pick'em show with Bill, and we're gonna mix it up.
Right.
So I've had an idea. I want to see what you think of it too. We're gonna spice things up. We're gonna start a Patreon and start exclusive stuff. But we're gonna
Okay.
do a pick'em show every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Then the next week we're gonna do a college football special once a month. Then we're going to go back into our pick'em, and on that off week from the pick'ems, we'll record it off the air and only be available for the exclusive people. So if we start building up an audience with the pick'ems, I think that'll help us a lot and make people want it, because I think they're going to be used to seeing it, you know.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to do a random event thing every once a month. Like we'll bring on a Cowboys person. We'll do like an NFC North panel. We'll do like a divisional thing, something unique. Maybe a band every once in a while, but mostly NFL
Yes.
content. We're going to mix it up and spread it out. And then, so I'm going to do that with Bill for like 30 minutes to like 45 minutes. Take a little break, and then I'm going to come right back on the air, double header, and do a fantasy show.
Yes. That's gonna be a lot.
I'm trying to expand.
It'll be a lot, but yeah, I mean, that's what you have to. I mean, there's so many. You got to find your avenue where you're getting through at where your niche or whatever it is you're trying to reach people on another level at. That's and like
And
you
I think
said,
the
building.
fantasy stuff. Yeah, I think the fantasy stuff. I'm gonna have to like learn how to talk about that on the air, because I haven't done it yet much.
Mm,
So that could not be that amazing in the beginning. But I played fantasy for like 25 years, so I'm just gonna try to learn about like dynasty leagues and IDPs and
mm.
stuff, because I've never done that. But I feel like if I keep doing like the same thing every time, it's just gonna. I don't know. I just want to keep it fresh. That's what I like about y'all's show, is like I'll watch it, you never quite know what to expect, which is kind
Y-
of fun.
Yes, that's exactly how we want it. There's a lot of people that tell me like, I feel like I'm just hanging out, and I'm like, yeah, that's how we want it to feel. It's like we're gonna talk sports, yes, but then we're also gonna mix in. We got on this. What's the best thing to pair with Coca Cola? And that led us down a whole nother road. It's just,
There you go. I
we
might need
don't.
to like some of y'all's polls and stuff you guys do is pretty fun. I'm gonna try to start mixing in some other stuff. But yeah, hell, even on the show on Tuesday, dude, we ended up talking about family stuff, it just went way like we had some funny bits, but it took a way big detour.
Pe-
But
But people,
I'd
that's
rather
that.
just be me.
That's why people find it endearing, though, because when people get to know you, and then it's not you standing up on top of a ladder yelling down at everybody like most of these other shows, like the Nick Wrights and the Colin Cowherds. They're like, oh, all those people on Twitter, they're crazy. They don't know what they're talking about. It's like, dude, you're wrong just as much as I am.
Mhm.
The only thing is you have a bigger microphone and a bigger budget.
And that's
Like
what
you're
I
not.
don't. If it gets big, I don't want that. I want to keep bringing. My goal is to
Yeah,
bring up the whole network and some of the other people I've met. Like met this guy named Ghost Warrior. He's a Bears fan.
I've seen
Like I
him.
said, Med. Yeah, me and him have been having fun. But
Hmm.
Rev Trev, I met some really cool people, and what I would want to do is pay it back, bring them on, dude.
Yeah.
Like we're
Well,
the cool thing about the podcasting community is most of the people I've met. There's been a couple, and I'll say about that off the air really quick after this. But most of the people have been legit. There's only been two,
yeah.
really one, but I'll explain it later. But
Some
other than
people
that,
can be
it's been great.
selfish. Some people can be,
Yeah.
but the whole thing that I love is whenever people get in the comments and they're just having their own conversations, and it's
Mhm.
they, when they're watching a sports show or a show that you want the audience to feel involved. Like there's nothing worse than whenever I hear somebody get up and start lecturing me on something about a point and I can't say anything, and
Exactly.
they just walk around like they're the golden goose, and
Yeah.
it's
No, and
usually
that's
that.
not. It's cool seeing it grow. It's hard to like not get too excited, but like that's kind of the goal. But also at the same point, the goal is this is going to be something I'm learning as you like get more people watching. Learning how to not take it personally, obviously, but how to like include them. Like I'm trying to like occasionally bring fans on the show, uh,
Yeah,
which is I think a really fun thing to do. And like
it is.
I really like this interview thing that you're doing because that's what me and Matt are trying to do with Blitz almost every week. Like it's not I might not
I'll tell you,
steal your idea, but
my
like with
wife.
the script, I like it.
My wife, she tells me like the one she loves listening to our show. She says we're complete idiots, which I agree with her. But once we get into a certain portion of the show, she kind of tunes out because we're talking more golf, DFS, DraftKings. But she's like the interviews. She's like those are so much fun. I want to hear people's story. Like people enjoy that. You bring somebody on, and it's this like you saw. We have a document where we clear out everybody's information, and then we send that same document, and we fill in different questions for whoever we're interviewing you know, um, and it's pretty fluid and it makes you're like, what are we going to talk about? It's like, you don't have to worry about it. It's all right there, dude. Like
And
it
I've
is.
mixed up with you a couple times. Like we've been talking about doing this for months. I knew it's
Yes.
gonna be fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Also,
We
I
got a
gotta
good.
ask you though. I gotta ask you for real. How do you feel about Brock Purdy after
Oh,
that
dude,
Super
are
Bowl
you
win?
kidding me? One of the guys we interviewed, one of our good friends, Dan Kilgore, was recently at a 49ers event back there and he took a picture with Brock Purdy. He didn't even send it to me. I had
Well,
to see
that's
it on his
messed up.
wife's. I was like,
What?
come on. He did send us a picture of
Especially
Jerry
after
Rice and
your comment on the quarterback thing recently, like, "Where's Brock Purdy?" I was like, I was like, dude, that's awesome. I was like, perfect timing, perfect
You
timing.
are never gonna find a bigger Brock Purdy stan than me, because I
Oh, he's
remember
great.
I've
Yeah.
watched him since he was at Iowa State. Like, people are like, "I can't believe he's doing this," and I'm like, if you watched him at Iowa State, he brought them from complete irrelevance to a
Mhm.
national power for 4 years, starting as a freshman all the way through. He leaves, they stink again. I'm sorry. That tells me, and I remember sitting on the back deck with my dad watching the preseason games, and he gets in there, and when he was throwing the football and commanding the offense, my dad and I were looking at each other like, "This guy can play." I was like, "I know he's in there with scrubs, but the way he's layering balls over defenders, the way he's timely on his back from his drop to when the ball is out, there's a timer in his head that goes off, ball's either out or there's something that I need to do." And you're talking about a dude who's a rookie, and then when he got in there, I was not surprised at all. I wish I could say I was, but I'm not. Like, I've watched the guy play for almost 6 years. We watch a lot of football, dude.
Oh yeah.
But I'm not, and the people won't give him his due because he's never gonna make the Jordan Love running right, throw it 60 yards across your body,
Or the
on a
Mahomes.
rope.
That was the only
Yeah.
thing I hated about the Super Bowl was I wanted to see him use his legs more like he did against Detroit. I thought that that was the difference in the Super Bowl. You all were so close, and you probably were the better team, just like Buffalo and Baltimore were better than KC. But
The,
when it's this close, and you've got a Mahomes, and you've got a Reed, and you've got a Spagnuolo, that's the great equalizer. Or you've got Chris Jones occasionally making a big play, or Kelsey. It's just there's just like little things within the game
there were
that.
three things.
Mhm.
McCaffrey fumbled on the opening
that,
drive,
that hurt
which he
bad.
never fumbles, ever. I don't think I saw him fumble but once when they lost to the Browns, and I think when they lost to the Vikings, he fumbled too, or Purdy
Yeah, I
got
think he
hurt.
had 2 fumbles through the year. I can't remember, maybe 3. But
Yeah.
yeah, it wasn't
He
many.
fumbles on the opening drive when we were just mowing them down. I mean, literally just right down the field. KC's defense complete in shambles. We're about to score. He fumbles the football. Dre Greenlaw got hurt. And I
That was
knew
huge. That was huge because he
when
was the reason y'all beat us. Without Dre Greenlaw, I think we were in the conference championship. For real, dude. For real. He had 2 picks. That was the game right there.
blew his Achilles running onto the field, and the Kansas City Chiefs waited until the fourth quarter to pick on Oren Burks, who filled in for him. And when they picked on Oren Burks, they were 9 for 9 with 137 passer rating.
And Travis Kelce figured out how to beat Patrick Willis on that leverage play. That was huge. Mahomes wore y'all's defense out using his legs because they made him run so much in the first half, and he just kept that defensive line so much pressure on them. And the problem is y'all got ahead, and the offense needed to make it a 2-score game. And there's a few opportunities I want to see Purdy move, like because those runs against Detroit were backbreaking. I've said it multiple times. Those runs against Detroit were backbreaking. I wanted to see a couple of those, and he just didn't use his legs, but he still played a good game. I mean, so did Jalen Hurts in the Super Bowl before. It's just like if somebody's going to slay the Chiefs, which I think they will this year. I don't think the Chiefs are going to three-peat. You're going to slam. You got to slam. You got to put them to rest. You got to put them to bed. And you guys were so close to doing it.
The third thing was that punt return that hit off of our guy's foot, his toe.
That killed.
So those 3 things were huge. I mean, other than that, it was a back and forth game. It was phenomenal. Like people are like, "Oh, the holding call." I'm like, I don't care. They got 3 breaks that you just shake your head. You're like, I cannot believe that happened. I cannot believe one of the best linebackers.
The Chiefs got those breaks in almost every one of the Super Bowl or every one of their playoff games too. And it broke right. And I'm like, I just don't think that's going to happen again. I don't believe in the receivers. I'm not big on Xavier Worthy unless he ends up being like Tyreek Hill.
Did you see the first video he had? There's a video of him with his first route in practice right through his hands. I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, give me all that.
Yeah, he's fast, but I mean, he's lightning quick. But I don't see he fell into the 3rd round in our mock draft. He fell like 70 or 75 for a reason. The guy's fast, but like with all this Rashee Rice stuff, if he really ends up in trouble, Kelsey's a year older. And I think you saw the decline last year, and they don't have a replacement for him. So I actually don't think it's even going to be KC that makes the Super Bowl this year. My question for y'all is, do you think you're going to have a Super Bowl hangover, or do you think you're still going to be – because the thing with that Detroit game that was crazy was, like the Super Bowl, there was some big momentum swings that were just crazy in y'all's favor in the second half that swung the game. That won't happen very often. So I'm just like, I thought y'all were the better team before that game, but Detroit came out on fire. If it comes down to y'all again, do you think you're going to beat them again? Because I don't know. It's interesting.
It's different now because the 49ers don't have to play from a lead.
True.
Usually it was they get up and just steamroll people. Now we've got a guy, whatever people want to say, that had 2 comeback wins in the playoffs and then went score for score with Pat Mahomes for the last 3 drives. Touchdown, field goal, like up and down the field. He matched him every time. It was just in the end, 49ers defense couldn't stop, and we took the ball first for some reason.
You know what's funny is yeah, I know that was so weird.
So do I think we can? I mean, yeah, because you're talking about we now have another level.
I'm torn between y'all and Detroit. I just think there's this Super Bowl hangover thing that happens that almost always happens that it influences the team, and I'm just curious if y'all are gonna be able to overcome it because Philly started strong, but you could tell they just fell off a cliff.
Their defense was atrocious. Their defense was terrible.
I don't know if I even believe in them this year. They made improvements, but I got to see that culture work. Something happened at the end of last year, and they lost some key vets that retired. And I know they made some good moves, like with Saquon and some of their draft picks, but I got to see it. So I'm kind of like between y'all and just being honest, I'm a Packer fan. I'd love to make the Super Bowl, but I'm between. I actually ranked Detroit first. That's coming from a Packers fan. I put Detroit as the best team. I loved their Terrion Arnold pick. I loved the Rakestraw pick. They made some good moves in free agency. I still don't know about Jared Goff, but dude, he took some hits last year and he came back. And I would have loved to see him swing momentum back in that conference championship, but they did come out on freaking fire. And then, it was just like the fumble. I mean, there was three things in that Lions game. Dan Campbell couldn't control himself. They fumbled after the insane play where they had the pick and it became a touchdown. And then they fumbled the very next play. Like, it was such a momentum gut check. The fact that they even hung in there was impressive because that would destroy a lot of teams. And they kept the game close. So
Dan Campbell has chosen an identity. He's chosen an identity, and I applaud him for it. But it's one of those things where it's like you've convinced everybody that plays for you and on your staff that we're going to go for it, and then every time you go back on that, you're going to be basically lying to your players and your coaches that you don't believe in their abilities whenever you've been preaching and parading about it all. And I think that little riff right there, unless he comes out and makes some other proclamation, I think he's going to get himself.
I don't think you can do that every time. You got to coach situationally.
You can
do
it.
He's a hell of a leader. I'm not sure if he's a hell of a coach. He's a hell of a motivational guy. Is he a hell of a coach?
It depends on are they the underdog anymore? No. Now there's expectations.
Mm-hmm.
So, can you, with the expectations, if you're the underdog, it's easy. We're going to bite your kneecaps off. We're going to go for it on fourth down. Now you're up there in the upper part of the NFC where people are expecting you to be a well-oiled machine. All the calls are right. And if you're out there costing yourself games, like, when they against the Cowboys or whatever, and then against the Niners, like, okay, the rah-rah stuff's done. Your talent's there. Your roster's there, buddy. Maybe you need to kind of, buzz the edges a little bit there. So I think it's more expectations of what the identity of the team is. You're not the underdog anymore, buddy. So,
So sorry, I steered us off. I know you're going to script. I steered us off.
No, I just have a few questions because you pretty much answered all the ones that I had in the first half of the show here, and then I just had a few more questions, and then we were going to do a couple of segments here. The other question,
and you can catch Blitz on. I said earlier, but you can catch Blitz. I think it'll be 8:30 Eastern Tuesday nights. Me and Med bringing other people on every week. So we'll be starting those back up in mid to late August. Yeah.
Okay.
In the meantime, we're on hiatus. We'll be some pre-recorded stuff for mine and his show, and maybe a little bit of stuff for Blitz. Honestly, I've got to start hitting that Blitz YouTube this fall. But the Blitz show is some of the guests we've had have helped. We've gotten some pretty good views on Twitter for brand new.
Are you guys on a hiatus?
Yeah.
From now until August, basically.
Not the whole network. Some of the shows are going to keep going, but just me and Med are. Yeah. He's doing some pre-recorded stuff for shots, and then I'm going to do some solo pre-recorded stuff, some short stuff. Like I recorded a little video earlier today, like NFC contenders. Mm-hmm. I ranked the list. It was fun putting the Cowboys down at like 6 or 7.
Oh yes, we got.
I mean, for real, like they don't have a running back. I could probably go play running back for that team right now. Is Ezekiel Elliott really their starter? Rico Dowdle? Are you kidding?
Yeah, Deuce Vaughn.
Like, what are they doing? They Tyler Guyton was a reach. I'm happy that we took Morgan instead, as much of a reach as he was. But like, come on. Like, Cooper Beebe wasn't a bad pickup. I liked him. I liked Nealand. But I didn't really like the rest of their draft, to be honest. And in free agency, they lost. They already had issues, and then they went out and lost like 6, 7 starters, half their line, the running back, depth at receiver, depth on defense, and didn't replace all of it. So I actually think they're going to struggle to make the playoffs. I think Washington's going to split with them for once. I think they'll sweep the Giants. They'll probably split with Philly, so that's 4 wins. I think they're going to struggle to get 5 outside the division. I think they'll be like a 9-8 team.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised by that. Maybe worse, but
they may be worse. They may not even make the playoffs, which would be great because I'd rather stop hearing about this Cowboys championship bullshit when they just destroy the shitty NFC East and get 5 wins a year off of that and just shellac. They just completely destroy every bad team that's not Arizona because for some reason Arizona was good against the NFC East. I don't know what it was, but beat Philly too. But I'm tired of it. I don't want to hear anymore. They're not a contender. A contender is a team that can actually contend for a championship. The Packers are more of a contender than Dallas, and I still
agree.
think we're a year away. But
that was just glorious whenever the Packers shellacked them in Dallas.
Oh,
That
God.
was hilarious.
That's my favorite thing is talking to Cowboys fans now and talking about. I'm like, you do realize we were the 7th seed. Y'all won 16 straight. I keep
The
receipt.
first time a 7 seed's ever beaten a 2 seed.
And they'd won 16 straight at home, and it wasn't even close. And this is my favorite thing about today. No, it wasn't just Dak's fault. This is a McCarthy problem and a Jerry Jones problem. Dak is just a manifestation. He's a above average quarterback trying to masquerade like he's a great one, and he's not. He's just not. It's like dress up on Halloween. Dak Prescott is pretending to try. He's dressing up like he's Josh Allen or Pat Mahomes when he's playing Washington. That's
playing Danny DeVito ball.
Yeah, it's just the guy's not it. He's not. So I had way too much fun with it. I didn't post it for clickbait the first time, and I didn't this time. But I was like, I'm gonna come back since it's been 2 months and he still hasn't been paid, and I'm gonna remind y'all that he still hasn't been paid. And in 2 more months, when he's not paid again, I'll probably make another video in July or August. I'll be like, hey, guess who still hasn't gotten paid?
Yeah. Yep.
Dak Prescott. So expectations for the Packers. I thought their draft was solid because I know that's one of your next questions.
Yeah.
I didn't love the Jordan Morgan pick, but I do think we got a guy that can slide into right guard. Maybe he can be left tackle. His arm length scares me a little, but the dude did come off an ACL and it actually improved in pass blocking. His last year.
When did he have his ACL?
It was in 2022.
Oh, okay. So yeah, he's good.
So he was recovering from it last year, and his pass blocking, like, is not just the sacks given up, but his pass block win rate actually improved while he was still recovering. So that's nice. I just thought if you're going to pick an interior lineman, the pick was Barton or JPJ at 25. So I think they missed that one. But dude, I wasn't on the camp pick him at 25, but the fact they moved 4 spots down, and while I would have liked Cooper DeJean, I wasn't on that train like a lot of people were. Getting Edger and Cooper, I've never done this much college scouting, so I learned so much. This guy can hit. I like this kid. I think we got a starter. I really do. And we needed to improve our linebackers. My biggest question mark is why the hell didn't we improve our defensive line? Because that's it's one of the strengths of KC, Baltimore, San Fran. Some of these teams have these hellacious defensive lines. We don't. And I still see it as a weakness. We didn't address it in free agency. We didn't address it in the draft. I think we addressed it sort of in the draft by drafting linebackers, and we're going to move our linebackers down to defensive end and move Kenny Clark in, which I think will improve our defensive line a little bit. But I think we needed another defensive tackle next to Kenny Clark to stop teams like freaking San Fran from running freaking Christian McCaffrey right in the freaking end zone in the 4th quarter when we're winning the damn game, and you guys just ran it right down our throats. And I was watching, I was like, yep, this is what we can't. If we're going to be a legit contender, we have to be able to stop the run.
And if we know that, Shanahan for sure knows that.
Oh, absolutely. Because as good as Shanahan still makes some mistakes in the Super Bowl, but he knows how to get you there, and he knows how to beat LaFleur. And until we can beat San Fran, which I think we're close in talent now, I think we need a couple more pieces. But I'm not gonna lie, man. Getting Xavier McKinney and getting Josh Jacobs and then backing them up with depth at running back and safety and linebacker and doubling down was genius. I think we're fine at receiver. I like our young guys. I think
did they draft a running back?
We drafted Marshawn Lloyd. So our picks were this: we drafted left tackle Morgan, decent pick. Okay, not great, but decent. It wasn't a total reach. He was like in the 40s. We got him at 25. We drafted Edger and Cooper, Texas A&M linebacker, the best linebacker in the draft.
Oh yeah.
Yep. We drafted Javon Bullard, safety. Can't remember the school. I think it's Miami. One of the best safeties in the draft. He'll probably play free safety next to McKinney. Then we went and got Marshawn Lloyd at 88, one of my favorite running backs in the draft from USC. Yeah. The dude, man, I think this guy might take Jacobs' job in like 2 years. This kid looks good. I like him a lot. He's probably the most elusive running back in the draft. They didn't use him as a receiver a ton, but when you go watch his highlights or any game tape, the dude can catch.
It wasn't about anything other than the Caleb Williams show. Yes, I mean, come on. So,
exactly.
It's hard to evaluate anybody else.
Yeah, so he didn't get a ton of run, but when he did, he looked great, especially last year. He looks like a guy. He kind of reminded me of Aaron Jones, to be honest with you.
Mm,
Which is great because they let Aaron Jones go and they kept Dylan, which was weird. Um,
very weird.
but then we got another linebacker in Hopper, which was a weird pick. I thought they'd go defensive line there. But he looks good. He can hit. Our identity was we're going to get guys that can hit. And then we went out and got two more safeties. We had Evan Williams and one of my favorite guys, Katana Ladapo. And then this later that in the fifth, we got a lineman who could maybe play center for us. And then in this, I can't remember we got in the sixth round, but in the seventh, we got a backup quarterback and a corner who could be solid, Kalen King. Surprised he fell to the seventh, honestly. And Pratt in the seventh was interesting because that could be a pick if we develop the kid, we could cash that in uh, for like a third rounder in a few years for a quarterback needy team. So I kind of like it. And we got depth at quarterback. So we got depth at quarterback, running back, O-line, linebacker, and safety in this draft. We didn't draft a receiver, tight end, or a defensive lineman, which two of those I was fine with. I was like, we don't need a receiver, tight end.
No.
We got like a million of them. But defensive line I wanted to hit. So I gave it a B because I was really upset they didn't get a defensive lineman or take some flyer on a receiver or tight end late because they always land on those. But I just wish like instead of tripling down on positions like a fantasy team, you'd spread the depth a little more. You know what I mean? Like for me, like, yeah, you can't pass up on a running back if you got a freaking, you get a Christian McCaffrey and then a Saquon Barkley falls to you and then you get lucky and another running back falls in the third. You're going to, triple down. But I like to like get starters every position, then fill depth if I can. That's my philosophy. Our GM likes to go get like three guys at a position. He does this all the time. So last year he drafted like three receivers and like two tight ends. So
they panned out.
Hell
it's
yeah! I think
our
receiving core is going to be legit. I really
only
do.
So many of them can play at a time, though. That's the problem.
I think that's what they're thinking. They're like, if we draft a receiver, who's he going to replace? You've got if Watson stays healthy, you've got Watson who has flashed some potential. Romeo Dubs, who in that playoff game against Dallas flashed. He had 150 yards. And he's had some big games. I want to see him stay healthy, those top two. But those guys can't stay healthy. Dontavian Wicks, I can't say his name right.
Yeah.
He was a beast last year as a rookie. And you got Jaden Reed. And then we got this undrafted guy named Bo Melton. And then you got two other guys behind him. You got DeBow, who didn't even play last year, or Malik Heath. So who's going to – like I was on the camp I would have liked to vet, but I don't know who he's going to take playing time from. And then you've already got two now second-year tight ends. So a third one? I don't know. There wasn't.
No, you didn't need. They didn't need that. They didn't.
There wasn't a lot of room for that. So my expectations are, like I keep talking about. Jason's a big Packer guy. He thinks they're going to go like 14-3. I went through the schedule. I was like, shoot, we do have a lot of easy games, but we're a young team. We were 3-6 last year. Let's see some consistency. Let's see Jordan Love have a consistent season, and let's see LaFleur and this defensive coordinator mesh because we've got so much flux on both lines. So the cool thing about y'all is y'all know your team for the most part. You guys didn't lose a ton. You've got a lot of consistency. The question mark is going to be, can you guys keep it moving forward? Can you keep the band together after this year?
Can they stay healthy again? I mean, for the most part.
Are you guys going to have the money to pay Ayuk, Debo, Kittle, Purdy coming up pretty quick? Are you going to have the money to pay McCaffrey and any money on defense? Probably not. You guys are probably going to draft somebody at some point.
Yeah.
It's just unless Purdy takes a big discount, it's going to be tough.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. He seems like a pretty humble guy.
Yeah. Is he going to sign for less than 50?
Is he going the Tom Brady route, or is he going to go the Mahomes?
Well, Mahomes was like, "Hey, pay me, trade Tyreek Hill, and how about I win back-to-back Super Bowls?"
Yeah. So that's going to be the key. Can he continue to do what he's doing? And I say yes. I think he can.
I think so. I'm going to be looking to see is he that type of guy who in the NFL can elevate when everything isn't right around him? Because I think you've got a damn good quarterback with a higher ceiling than Garoppolo. There were question marks, but it was a second year, so I want to see more.
He's coming off a major elbow surgery.
Off that too. So can
he didn't even get a full camp last year.
That's true. No, you're right.
He's coming off a UCL not reconstruction, but repair. So
that's a good point. That's huge. That's huge. But like when Trent Williams was down and Debo was out, there was it didn't flow. There was hiccups, and that's going to happen when guys are out. That was the big thing with the Packers. They had a ton of injuries.
Well,
My
that's the
big
thing.
thing for can
They
Purdy elevate? I
they,
want to see it.
they still, everybody says, oh, he didn't elevate. I'm like, what is he supposed to go 16-0 every year? Like, what's his measuring stick? They're still the number one. They're still the number one seed. They're still won the NFC. They still made it to the Super. What else? I mean, the guy, all he has done is won, and he did exactly what I wanted to see. Was holy shit, the chips are down here in the divisional. Oh shit, the chips are down in the NFC, and who stepped up? It was him.
He
It
did.
was him.
The only thing that was weird was he played like a Bruce Banner Hulk thing, where he was Bruce Banner and felt he was asleep for the first half in both of those games, and then woke up. So it's kind of like the Love thing. Can we see just to be honest, can we see a little bit more consistency? But I mean, it was the playoffs. That stuff happens. Sorry about that. That stuff happens. Like, you're not always going to be at your best, and that's one thing. Like, as hard as I'm on Dak, I'm hard on him because he always seems to screw up. I almost cursed. He always seems to F up when he's playing against elite competition. And that wasn't the case with Purdy or Love, actually. They actually kind of rose to the occasion. But my biggest thing that was weird about it was like a halftime adjustment thing. In both those NFC playoff games, he woke up at halftime. Something happened. Like, I don't know if the coach got in him or he got in his own head and woke himself up. It was kind of awesome. So I want to see if the dude, is he going to take another step up this year, which tends to happen with 30-year quarterbacks? Because if he does, y'all are probably, unless Detroit, I mean, they're a hell of a good team. Or us, or I don't know about Philly, man.
But Jared Goff's Jared Goff. You pressure Jared Goff, he sucks. Done. Like, if you can get to Jared Goff, he sucks. That's if you don't get to him, he'll rip you apart.
He proved to me this year a couple times that happened, but then there were times where he was getting smashed and he came back better than he used to. So I think he's hit his ceiling, but the problem is he just hit his ceiling. And you saw what Detroit did. They're a contender. They can make the conference championship and threat. That's better than most teams. And they had a hell of a draft. But are they going to have a second weapon at receiver? Is that defense going to take a step up? I love Laporta, but he's a tight end. And what can Goff and Campbell do? That's the big question, Yeah. So that's my questions for them. The funny thing is I've actually got more questions about Detroit than San Fran. My biggest one for y'all is the Super Bowl hangover thing. That's such a weird ingredient that we just saw with Philly. If y'all overcome that, you guys probably are the best team in the NFL right now. So we're going to see.
Yeah.
That's it right there.
I just think that Shanahan is a much different coach than Sirianni.
Oh, dude, I think
so.
I hate to be this
That's
way.
my answer to that.
I'm not advocating for guys to get fired, but if Sirianni and Philly falls flat in their face, you're seeing this with the NFL and the NBA. Owners are less patient, and it sucks because giving guys time actually tends to work unless they're not the right dude. But Denver just won a title in part because they let Mike Malone sit and develop that roster.
Mm-hmm.
And they let the roster grow together. That's what I liked what the Bears did. They were like, not only we're going to draft Caleb, we're going to get him a receiver to grow with. Smart. Now, I think they should let the dude sit and get a vet for him to watch. I think that'd be much smarter than throwing him in the fire week one. It works sometimes, or you can get a Bryce Young situation where they didn't give him anything and they probably hurt his career by throwing him in the fire.
Yeah.
But I mean, the Bears have a lot of weapons. I just think there's something to be said about the way you develop quarterbacks. Y'all, I still cannot believe that you guys fell into Brock Purdy after that Trey Lance trade. You guys had one of the worst trades in NFL history, and then you landed Brock Purdy. What the hell? What was that, man?
From that draft, the 49ers actually got the highest return for any quarterback drafted in that draft.
Yeah, that's crazy.
They got a third rounder, I think, for Trey Lance, and all the other ones were traded for like fourth or worse. So
exactly. All right, sorry, I derailed it. I know you got more questions.
No, dude, this is how it goes whenever we talk. This is phenomenal. I had all these questions, but sometimes
I'm just,
you don't
squirreling,
need to.
But should have been one to ask you about for a while. So.
No, I do. I don't worry. I don't worry about it at all. I think Brock Purdy's a real deal. I really do.
I'm excited. Some of the quarterback ranking list I saw that had him in the 20s. I was like, bullshit. I put him in the top 10 right now. Where he's like, I want to see this year. I think it's going to be very telling for him, for Jordan Love. I already know who Dak Prescott is, but Trevor Lawrence is in a make or break year for me. I want to see what he's got. There's a lot of guys out there.
I think he was more injured than people realized.
I also questioning, like, is he just one of those? I heard an analogy on, I can't remember if it was Bill Simmons or where I heard it, but like, number one quarterback picks, you're either going to get like a Hall of Fame or you get a Peyton Manning, something stupid like that.
Yeah, Andrew Luck.
Andrew Luck, yeah, exactly. When he was healthy, absolutely.
Yep.
That guy that played longer, he probably would have made the Hall of Fame. He was awesome.
Oh my gosh, he was ridiculous.
I'm trying to think of some other number one quarterbacks. I don't know, but anyways, you get the ones that are Hall of Famers, and you get the ones that are just good starters that last, kind of like a Drew Bledsoe. Good example. They're going to play in the NFL. They could start, but they're not a difference maker. And then you get a total scrub like a Ryan Leaf kind of situation, even though he wasn't the number one pick, but like a top pick. And like I bet it happens with this draft. There's going to be one of those that's a scrub. I kind of just think Trevor Lawrence is in that middle area. I just don't think he's.
I think he was dealt I would say this is his third year because that Urban Meyer stuff was atrocious. So I just throw that year out.
Give him, and I want to see him with some, hopefully health at receiver and.
Well, Zay Jones and Calvin Ridley, who didn't play football for a year. Christian Kirk, who Arizona.
Christian Kirk has been awesome for him. It was when Christian Kirk got hurt. That's when, and then he got banged up at the same time. It just went. Whoosh. It was like almost simultaneous.
Christian Kirk's a middle of the field merchant, and that's where Trevor Lawrence excels.
Exactly.
So that's what that.
Funny, I've actually seen Christian Kirk play in high school. He was at the high school I worked at, Saguaro High School in Arizona. He went to school there, and I actually saw him play. That was kind of crazy.
He's a freak at Texas A&M too.
Yeah, he was.
Wasn't that where he went? Was he at Texas? He was at Texas A&M, right? No, that was Mike Evans.
Was it Tech? I think it was Tech, wasn't it?
I don't know.
That is a good question. I don't remember. He did go. I think it might have been A&M. I think Mike Evans was. Mike Evans for sure was A&M, wasn't he? Yeah.
Now I got to know.
Now I got to know. Hold on, I'm gonna try to look up this computer.
Hold on, everyone. Everyone back down.
Research during the show.
Here we go. Texas A&M. We were right.
Texas A&M?
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
28 this year. We're going to see what the guy's got. I mean, he was for the year before that, he was great for them. But you nailed it. It's just like he's not a number one receiver, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, we're right there.
He played like it the year before, but
we've got Evan Ingram, who the Giants threw away. We've got Christian Kirk, who the Arizona Cardinals were like, get out of here. We've got Calvin Ridley, who hadn't played football for a year. And now we got Zay Jones, who the Bills were like, you stink.
It's a fair point. Like Josh Allen had Stephon Diggs. Freaking Dak Prescott's had CeeDee Lamb. That's another argument I had. I was like, the Cowboys had a better supporting cast of stars at least than the Packers did, and then they folded like a cheap tent in the playoffs. But you got to look at who they're throwing the ball to. That's what was so impressive about what Mahomes just did. When your number one target's an aging Kelsey or a rookie Rashee Rice, who wasn't like a game changer, and you can still do that after Tyreek Hill, the best weapon in football, even still at his age, left. That's just stupid. That's stupid.
Yeah. All right. Hey, we got a segment here we're going to do. We got two topics. Let me play a little segue here. I'm going to play a little, let's do this one here.
Are you serious?
Oh my God, you're an idiot.
Are you kidding me?
Is that the water cooler, man? Yeah.
Essentially, so I'm going to put up a screen here for those of you who are listening to the podcast. These are two blank screens. The yellow, which matches Isaac's Fun Football Pod colors, and then the neon green, which is my here. The topic is since we just discussed in length, what are the top 5 NFL teams that are overrated heading into 2024? And so Isaac go first because I could only figure out how to get the PowerPoint to do one at a time. That's how we're going to do things. So here we go.
So I'm going
top 5.
All right, so I'm going.
You're
top
going
team first.
No, it's going to be number 5. I got it. It's
number number 5, the lowest team.
So I'm going to flash it right here. Here we go.
There we go.
Top 5 NFL teams that are overrated headed into 2024. Yours, number 5, is the Eagles.
And I'm going to give an honorable mention to the San Francisco 49ers.
Oh, I didn't see that on there. And even if it was, I wouldn't have put it on there. I would have.
I thought about it after. I was like, I need to add it. No, I think Philly, like we talked about it at length earlier. I just question, like, man, is this guy the right coach? Is Jalen Hurts like something was wrong last year, man.
They
didn't
had
even
all
look
the
like
shiny toys last year, dude.
they had all those shiny toys, and I think they added Saquon, which could be one of the biggest. That
Great.
could be a Christian McCaffrey like move. It could. This guy could be a freaking
Another
beast.
guy who wants the ball.
I know. I'm like, I just don't see it working, man. Losing Jason Kelsey, he was still a baller, and Fletcher Cox, and they added a bunch on D. I like the Cooper DeJean pick a lot.
The corner from Toledo.
I like the other corner. Yeah, they got another guy in the first, so I like their draft.
Yeah,
but
Quinyon Mitchell.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, he was one of my favorite players. He was not. I like DeJean, but not on that level. Kenyon Mitchell's a beast, dude. If he's half as decent as we all think, the problem with the draft, we didn't really hit it yet, but all these defensive guys fell because it was quarterback, receiver, left tackle.
Yeah.
So I got Philly. I really question where they're going. AFC North, I did copy you, but here's my
You're
problem.
gonna see this again.
Pittsburgh, I got to actually see Russ play. I think Justin Fields might be their starter. And I'm sorry, but I don't see the weapons on offense. They have a decent running game, but TJ Watt needs to stay healthy. The Bengals, while they're one of my sneaky picks, if Burrow gets hurt, they're back in 8-9 territory. The Browns, I'm sorry.
Let's do that again.
I don't believe in Deshaun Watson, dude. I like that D, but I don't think that they're a Super Bowl contender.
He doesn't care.
No, he doesn't. He's getting paid.
He doesn't care.
At least he's not doing the massage stuff anymore.
Yeah.
And then what's the other team? You got
Ravens.
I like them, but they did lose a lot on defense. And I like getting Derrick Henry, but
starters.
That's probably the best team in that division still. And I don't think any team from that division is going to the Super Bowl. So
overrated. NFC
I
North.
think the NFC North has a chance to take them. The Jets, the New York Jets, because how about somebody stays healthy? How about we see Aaron Rodgers play more than 4 snaps? More than 4.
Can we do this again? Can we do?
The AFC, I just got AFC East. So I went Jets at 3 because I want to see Mike Williams stay healthy. They didn't get another weapon. They didn't go Brock Bowers. I like that they went tackle. That was good for them. But they're one injury away from Mike Williams, away from just having one receiver again. And Mike Williams is going to get hurt. And while I love their running back, and I like some of their pieces on D, I don't trust Aaron Rodgers to stay healthy at this point in his career or be a difference maker. And the Bills just lost half their defense. They lost their entire receiving core, and they're going to lean on James Cook. And I'm sorry, as much as I like Josh Allen, that probably is better for them. But I think they've got a ceiling that isn't – they haven't made a Super Bowl for a reason, and I don't think they're a legitimate contender. I don't think either of those teams are. I think it's between the Chiefs. I think the Texans actually might be the next team.
Oh, I already put a future on them to be in the Super Bowl.
Good for you, dude. I really like them. If CJ Stroud takes a step up. So, yep.
Number 1. Frauds. Overrated.
They suck.
All the above.
They suck.
I don't even know.
They lost their left tackle to the Jets, which was funny. They lost their center. They did draft Cooper Beebe. Good for them. I don't like the Tyler Guyton pick. They don't have a running back. They don't have a third receiver. I don't even know if Brandon Cooks is a great second receiver anymore. So they've got one weapon on offense. Their tight end's decent. They got one weapon. Double him or he gets in his own head, and that offense can't do a thing. Dak doesn't move anymore, and their defense can just get bullied around. It did against us, which was shocking, but it did the year before against San Fran. So.
Yep. Hey, you're going to see, okay, now here's my list. Number 5, the Jets. Are we going to do this again? Are we going to do the whole Aaron Rodgers run the team, blah, blah, blah? Let's just see what happens here, folks. Let's see if they can actually play cohesive football and if they can stop anybody from getting to the quarterback, because that lasted about 4 games. Don't care. Overrated.
I feel like I had that team too. Look at that.
The Colts.
Good pick.
Colts. I have seen so much hype about Anthony Richardson the past, 2 months. And I really like Anthony Richardson as a dude, but I'm not sold on a guy who played at Florida, who was a 500 quarterback with a sub 50 completion percentage. And now all of a sudden
you're hearing a lot of Anthony Richardson noise, huh? It's funny because I'm going to be honest, this is kind of messed up. I didn't even think about the Colts on overrated because I didn't rate them very high.
Overrated. There's too much Anthony Richardson hype because they're like, he could change. And I'm like, no, he couldn't. I don't know how he gets better from being not that good in college other than being just a freak specimen.
He's the one thing he could add to them is a big running element that I saw. So that could elevate them a little. I do like their coach, but what else do they have on that roster, dude?
What is it? Steichen? Is that who they have?
Yeah, what else do they have? They've got
Jonathan Taylor.
Okay,
the
so they've got a running back and they got Michael Pittman. What do they have on defense?
Tell me.
Bullard? What do they have? They've got they got Quentin Nelson. They got one of the best guards in football. They've got a decent running back. I don't think he's that amazing, honestly. He had a great rookie. He hasn't been great since. They
I'll
lost
do you this.
Moss.
Would not be surprised if they finished last. How about that? Last in the AFC South. Book it. Entire AFC North, same as you. I am so sick of this also because that's the only team that the 49ers couldn't beat except for the Steelers. I think they went 1-3 and got smoked by every single AFC North team.
You guys did.
So screw them.
Against them, dude.
They stink. Lamar can't win in the playoffs. Steelers have no quarterback. The Bengals are one wrist injury away from Joe Burrow. And who's the other one? The Browns, we just shouted, get out of here. Number 2, overrated, the Packers.
That's for me. You would have put this on the list if I wasn't coming on here.
The Packers stink. They stink.
We almost beat you. We almost beat you. They can't
beat Brock Purdy and the 49ers. All this jibber jabber about how they're going to win the North, no chance. They're going to finish 3rd in the division behind the Bears and the Lions and miss the playoffs. They stink.
Dude, you don't even believe it.
No, I don't, but I was going to put it in there. And the number 1.
The Bears are going to finish high. I'm just putting it in there.
The Cowboys.
Yeah, number 1.
Overrated. We are not them boys. It is not your year. You are not. This will be year number 33 or whatever it is. Just you can go ahead and mail it in for the year. Y'all stink. That's it. There's the top 5.
Packers in there. It said the Bears are going to finish.
Packers 3rd in the NFC North. Clip it, book it, save it on your bookmarks, whatever you want to do. All right. There's our list. We will put those up on Twitter after we record it.
You know what? I'm just gonna hold on really quick. I'm gonna you can just tie it if you want to type it in later. Just go ahead and add 49ers right there next to the Bills at number 2.
I'll do it with like an airbrush. Bills/49ers.
So I'm gonna be respectful and nice. I'm like, I want to beat y'all first, and you're like,
no, you listen to our show. We're not respectful and nice. We're idiots.
My problem with y'all is, can Shanahan win you a Super Bowl? And you know what? It's kind of like the Cowboys. Until it happens,
don't put us in the same.
I ain't gonna believe it. I ain't gonna believe that Shanahan gets there, and there's something like he just can't get. It's a tough game to win, obviously, but this year is going to be interesting, dude, because this is probably the last year you're going to have all these weapons in their prime on offense. This is your window right now. Right now, it's your window.
I want to play the how dare you so bad, because if you ever put the 49ers in the same sentence as the Cowboys again, I will rank the Packers last. They're going to finish dead last, 32nd. They're going to get relegated to the UFL.
He's like, damn, the Packers are going to be good this year. I can't even.
They're going to be good.
He's like, yeah, I just want to see how we grow this year. I'm expecting a playoff team. I won't lie to you. I'd be absolutely shocked if we go 8-9 and miss the playoffs. I really would. I just don't see it. Looking at my schedule, I'm like, we're going to have to suck. Like we had games we sucked last year. We're going to have to suck for like a 2-month stretch.
I will agree, but I also wanted to get this out there in case I'm right, so that we can clip it and then go back and be like, we told you so.
Well, and Matt LaFleur is great as a coach when he's not going against the 49ers. So
yeah,
he's an excellent coach when he's not coaching against y'all.
And the next one, the hottest conversation in sports right now is, can NBA players play in the NFL? Can NFL players play in the NBA? You know what? Forget that. Who cares about that? Who could coach from NBA to NFL or NFL to NBA?
You're gonna have to give me what I said, because I
got it right here, buddy.
All right.
Here's your list. Top 5 coaches that could go either to the NBA or to the NFL and succeed. Your number 5 was Mike McDaniel.
Yeah, I saw it on yours, and then I was like, man, the way he is with players and the guy, his personality, he's funny. I think it would translate over to the NBA. where
Yes.
it's such a me league. I think he would
Yes.
mesh. I actually think his personality would mesh.
Yes.
Not Miami, because they're the Miami Heat are the opposite of the Miami Dolphins.
Heat
The
culture.
opposite. Heat culture's real. They just didn't have the health this year, and they
Yeah.
might be in for a transition because I think Jimmy's at the end of his run there. I think they're going to make some moves, but with Spoelstra, they always have a chance. That guy's legit. He's proven that he's a hell of a coach outside of LeBron. Good for him. Andy Reid. The reason why is this dude has just been such a winner, man. Like I just think
Yes. He would figure it out.
underratedly, I think he'd figure it out. He knows players. I think that's the biggest thing in the NBA that's missing that works in the NFL. The guys that mesh well with players and learn how to just pick the absolute best out of them. There's a reason Mahomes is who he is. He got Andy Reid as
Yeah,
his
he got
coach.
he got Andy Reid. Number 3.
Well, yeah, like when I saw it in yours, I was like, absolutely. This dude coaches toughness. He'd be a hell of
Defense.
a coach. He'd be a great coach for the AFC North. If they didn't
Yes.
have Mike Tomlin, the Steelers, I could see it there, or the Ravens, the Browns, I think he'd be a hell of a coach for the Browns. AFC North in pitching, he's just a tough, hard-nosed dude. That's how he coaches NBA, and it does work, dude. I mean, look at him in New York. It's working.
Agreed.
The guy's a good coach. He pisses players off, but he's good. Spoelstra,
Number 2.
I mean, I already said it. Like this guy would be absolutely perfect in the NFL. He knows how to elevate subpar teams. He's one of the best coaches I've seen. Like Pop, when he had the right talent around him, this guy had lifted bad teams with Jimmy Butler to NBA Finals runs outside of the LeBron stuff. He's made his own legacy now. He'd be awesome in the NFL. Seriously.
You'll see some of these names twice,
I
but
think
hey,
Popovich, I mean, I know he doesn't get as much cred now because it was all with the Duncan run, but if he stays long enough with Wemby, dude, this
Yeah.
kid. Did they do they did the DPOY ranking. What did he get? Was he second? Or was he
who?
third?
Wemby?
Yeah.
I have no idea. He
I
didn't
know
win
he was top
DPOU.
3 as a rookie, which is just shit. But anyways, Pop, the way if you just watch him speak, he is one of my favorite coaches of all time for a reason because the dude just gets guys to buy in. He's just had really bad talent around him. You can only elevate so much. There hasn't been. They haven't had the talent since Kawhi left, and that happens.
You don't
You
coach
can't coach.
as long as
You can't. You can only coach bad players up so much. Not to be mean to the Spurs players, but Wemby didn't even have another even remotely close to an all-star level player around him this year. They're going to need to build that roster up. But Pop is great at getting the best out of good talent. It's like it reminds me of Phil Jackson a little bit, but he had guys that weren't even on that level and made a dynasty out of it.
Yeah, I mean, you don't coach that long not knowing what you're doing. So number 5, you had McDaniel. Number 4, you had Reed. Number 3, you had Thibodeau. Number 4, you had Spoelstra to the NFL. Then you had Pop to the NFL. So a lot of guys from the NBA to the NFL. Mine's kind of similar. Here we go. I had number 5 was Doc Rivers to the NFL. And the reason I have Doc Rivers as number 5 is because he would somehow figure out how to get a job to coach in the NFL, even though he has no qualifications and absolutely no idea what he's doing, but he would figure out how to get into the NFL. Number 4, Kyle Shanahan would be a great coach in the NBA because he's an absolute genius. He's one of the best coaches on the planet in any regard, and he can get to at least the conference championship and the final dance, and he knows how to draft absolute gems, as you've seen with Brock Purdy. Number 3 was Tom Thibodeau because he likes defense. And if you're going to play in the NFL, you might want to be able to play defense. Number 2 was Spoelstra, same reason you said. But the reason I had him at number 2 and McDaniel at number 1 is you could switch them and just do like a trial run right there. Mike McDaniel at number 1 for the same reason. You just switch them and then see if you can't get a little toughness to the Miami Dolphins because they play basketball football. It's all smoke and screens, non-contact, speed, not really hitting anybody, fake fights, fashion football, whatever you want to call it. Mike McDaniel would be a great NBA coach, and Spoelstra could take over the Dolphins and probably win them a division. So there you go. Top 5 for each of us coaches to transfer from NBA to NFL or NFL to NBA. There you go. That was our segment. The final segment of this interview, and this has been an absolute blast. And
Thanks,
I really
dude.
appreciate
I went long, but I was having fun, man. That was good stuff.
Dude, the segments, all that stuff, it's what we love to do. Some segments that we're not going to sit up here and debate players coaches. And so we'll clip this to put it up on Twitter, and then we will try to be a little bit different than most people.
Heck yeah. I'm going to clip, when I get it, I'm going to clip the Cowboys stuff I set out. That's one thing I learned from you. I'm going to start clipping stuff out. I'm going to start doing that this fall because I'm like, people need a trailer. And I can make like a little video, but a little trailer from the actual episode is smart. I'm going to start doing it.
Yes. So there you go. We'll get all that stuff out on Twitter. Thank you for listening on a Sunday and a Monday morning for your podcast. I will be on vacation this week, so even though you're hearing me, I will be on the beach somewhere, probably reeling in an absolute monster bluefish. Please tell everyone again where they can find your stuff. Again, I'll put your link tree down in the show comments, notes, whatever. But just one more send off from you and all the boys over there at the crew.
So so the Podcast Boys Network, you can find that on Twitter and Facebook. We're starting to launch stuff on YouTube as well. But me, Fun Football Pod, you can find, I'll be having shorts out through the summer, like at least once a week, most weeks, on my YouTube, Fun Football Podcast. On Twitter, Fun Football Pod. On TikTok, I think it's Fun Football Podcast. On Facebook, Fun Football Pod, Fun Football Podcast. And then on Instagram, I think it's Fun Football Pod. I'm not sure. I gotta look at Instagram again. I'll be on Twitch soon. You guys can catch me this fall on Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern, and then double header. I'm gonna try it 8 p.m. Eastern with a fantasy special. And we'll be back. We'll probably be back like third week of August. I'll probably start right after school starts. But one of my favorite things about this year is meeting you, dude, and all the people I got to meet. It's my last show on a recording for probably like 3 months. So thanks, man. Yeah.
I'm glad we could have been the last one. This has been long overdue.
Yeah,
I'm glad
you thought it was you. I was like, all right, fine. I owe you. And you've been on the show a bunch, and you're my favorite people, so I had to do it. So.
I appreciate that, and I'm glad that you took the time to do this for us, and that we got to rag on Cowboys fans and talk about
this fall. Absolutely more this fall. Let's wait. Let's plan it for when they lose.
Hey, you can follow us YouTube, the Millie Goats, Rumble, the Millie Goats, Twitter at Millie Goats, Instagram at the Millie Goats. Follow Izac where you can find it. The Podcast Boys Network, is that what it is?
Yeah, that's our network.
Yes, go follow them too. Hey, we're getting better. All right, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you. We'll see you next time.